So today I am talking with you about developing a thesis statement specifically for our TED Talks that we're going to be doing. And so I'm going to show with you how you can kind of connect your ideas together to create a solid thesis statement for what we're doing. So the first thing that I want you to um, think about are the steps that we need to do when we're writing a thesis statement. And this is for any thesis statement, but I'm going to kind of hone it in on power in society. But you can really think about this when you're writing. These are just good processes to use anytime you need to make a statement like this. So, first thing you're going to do is break the question into parts. That way you can make sure that all the parts of the questions have been answered. You're going to name the parts for your specific answer. So you're going to plug in their word in the question with your specific idea related to that. The more specific you are, the better your writing will be, because it will really show that you know what you're talking about. And it's actually easier to talk about things in smaller chunks rather than trying to make broad generalizations, because you really can't say it all when you want to talk about the broad topics. Then the next thing you're going to do is take those parts that you've named and make it a statement. Okay. So in every thesis statement, you'll have the thing you're talking about, and then the analysis section. And that will depend on the type of question you're asked as to whether it's a problem solution, some kind of analysis observation, some kind of other argument you're making, whether or not there should be an answer to a question or whatever. So that part you'll have to kind of hone in based on the question that you are being asked. So what you're going to do with step one is, our question is, how does power shape the world? That's the question for our unit, and that's the question that your TED Talk aims to answer. It is an extremely broad question. So you need to be able to refine it and narrow it down to a topic that you can talk about in 3 to 5 minutes. So the parts of the question are pretty straightforward. It is the world, power, and how it shapes. Okay. So the world, and I don't mean, when we're asking you this question, we don't mean the entire world. There's no way that you could have a 3-minute conversation about the world and power dynamics. Like, that's not the expectation. But it's broad enough that you can basically find whatever you want to talk about, and the power dynamics that you're observing in the world, those are the things that you are focusing in on. So then you're going to name the actual power dynamic. Like, what is the thing that you're seeing happening there? And that you're going to pull from that blue packet. So you're going to name some kind of power relationship that you see, power dynamic. You're going to name that in that section. And then the shape, this is the effect. This is where you kind of make your observations about how these two things connect. And you'll need research to back up this part of your essay. But right now, you can go off of your observations. And then if you need to refine it a little bit later because of your research, and you want to wordsmith it, or even change what you're saying because maybe research didn't support what you thought you were going to say, that's okay. For now, I just want you to name what you think that shaping is in the world. So then the next step is to really actually name those specifically for yourself. So the parts that we have here are the world, and what I've chosen to talk about, and this is kind of, I've used a past person's really well done TED Talk and kind of broken theirs down for you so you could see what a successful answer would be. So it's Instagram and the likes and followers as a way to measure success, or a positive, as a positive thing to somebody who's good, like an influencer maybe. Power dynamic is a hierarchy, because you've got the number one influencer, or somebody who's really powerful and everybody wants to follow them. That creates kind of a hierarchy within Instagram. And then what the shape is, it creates a false perception of an individual's worth. And so that somebody who's really only known for putting on lip gloss on Instagram may have a lot of sway in that world, when really in life, putting on lip gloss may not be the thing that's super important. So that's kind of how that power dynamic is kind of being discussed. Now, this is one way to look at social media. I don't think that all social media is bad because of this one example. I think you could say a lot of positive things and a lot of really good positive comments about how social media empowers people as well. So know that just because one TED Talk I say is good and it says something in one direction, doesn't mean that you can't make an argument that's really strong in another direction that is different than the same one. So don't feel like you're honed in because of the one example that I give you. So then you're going to make it a statement. So we've got our parts here, the Instagram and the way to measure success, the hierarchy, and how it shapes the world. So now what you're going to do is you are going to take your parts and piece them together to make a cohesive thought. You're going to name the sliver of the world, name the power dynamics explicitly, and you're going to make a statement that really develops that effect. So I took those three parts and I pieced them together to make a sentence. So the thesis down below is, through the practice of quantifying likes and followers, Instagram has developed a hierarchy that creates a false perception of an individual's worth. So you can see how those three parts actually live within the thesis statement. And this is what I want you to put in your response when you've picked your topic, because I want to see how you are imagining piecing these things together when you talk about it. You can't just say, oh, I want to talk about sports teams. Well, okay, but what about sports teams? What are you seeing there? You can't just say, I want to talk about social media. What do you see in social media? What is the specific argument that you want to make when it comes to social media? Doing this will help you really pinpoint the kind of research that you're going to be looking for. It will pinpoint the questions you need to ask to get to that research, and it will help you weed out information more quickly because you know a direction to head when you are looking for something. And you'll also know very quickly by doing this, if your topic is worded in a way that may not be accurate or may not have research to support it, you know very quickly, ooh, I need to reword this. Maybe not throw the whole thing out, but maybe I need to create a different kind of word for my power dynamic. Maybe I need to look at something like social empowerment versus hierarchy, or maybe I want to look at transferability of power and how you can transfer your power on Instagram into maybe making a lot of money or something like that. So you can keep your topic, but then maybe flip it around and kind of rearrange it a little bit so that you can have research to match what you want to say. And that's what we'll do in the research process. So this is what's called a working thesis statement, and then you'll have time to refine it before you go and submit your final topic and paper and presentation. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully this helps you see exactly what to do when you are creating your thesis statement. Talk to you soon.